Some years ago, I realized more I think about anxiety, more I become anxious. The story starts many years ago when I was talking to a friend and a colleague, and I kept going on talking about analyzing anxiety, looking for a way to manage anxiety, what is anxiety, and all of a sudden this friend stopped me and she told me, Nahi, I want you to stop and I want you to answer this question. Imagine today is the last day of your life. What would you choose to do? At the beginning, I was shocked and I thought, wow, that's a cheerful question to ask. But more I thought about it, more I understood the value of this question. You see, chronic anxiety is always trying to pull us into the future. And it's all about what something goes wrong. What if I fail? What if I lose something? And for most of my life, that was exactly the future that I was seeing. I was born in revolution. Basically, during the revolution, I was 16. And then it came war, and then exile. And then my nervous system became very good on basically identifying a future danger constantly. So later on I studied psychology, human behavior, and by then I knew much more about anxiety than I knew, of course, at age 16. But I noticed something strange. The more I mention anxiety, the more attention I'm giving to it. And there is a huge difference between living with anxiety and learning useful skills or making anxiety your full-time job. So today I'm going to talk to you about 5 ways that help me to monitor anxiety while participating to life. So stay with me. The most important skills that we can learn is to change the question. Your mind works little like a Google map. Whatever destination you give to your mind, it will make sure that you reach to that destination. So, if every day I ask myself what could go wrong, what kind of danger I'm attending today, what kind of problem I should prepare myself for, you know what? That's exactly what my mind starts to look for. So, start with a different question and your mind will find a different destination. Ask yourself, what kind of possibilities exist today? What opportunities are available to me today? And what resources I already have that I don't know even about it? What strength helped me to survive the similar situation before, which is very important. The uncertainty does not go away, of course, but the possibilities become much larger. You began to see more than obstacles. You began to see routes, resources, and possibilities. There is a quote from William James that I really love and I keep repeating to myself. My experience is what I agree to attend to. Now that we learn how to change the question, the second important skill is to stop predicting the problem and exploring the possibilities. Now I tell you something funny. You remember the cartoon Winnie the Pooh, the character called Eeyore? Eeyore seemed always to know what doesn't work. And his famous quote was, after all, it never happened. What that means is that I shouldn't even start. Many anxious minds work that way. Before the solution even was tested, the mind already predict the failure. And it will say, that won't work. You will fail and you will be once more disappointed. So, it's not necessary even to start. Instead of asking yourself what is impossible ask yourself, what is possible? Is it possible that there is a solution that I haven't even considered? Is it possible that I know more than what I think I know? Possibilities are where the solution is staying, not inside the impossible. Anxious people are great fortune tellers. The only problem is that they know only one future. Sometimes anxious mind afraid more than success than failure. You may not believe it, but anxious mind doesn't like success, because success means to enter in a new and unfamiliar territory, to change the map, to take steps, to enter in a future that is not predictable, because anxious mind is all about future. And if you succeed, you tell anxious mind that you were wrong, and anxious mind doesn't like and enjoy to be wrong. The anxious mind knows how to navigate in those territories. Disappointment is familiar. Staying where you are is familiar. That's why many people, they start to plan something, research on something, spend years on preparing themselves, but they never take a step, because part of them is afraid of success, entering in a future that is not predictable. So anxious mind keep asking, why if I fail? But a better question is to ask yourself, what if I succeed? What I'm afraid of maybe is not a failure, maybe is to change the pattern and to be successful. Sometimes the greatest risk that you can take is not the risk that lead to failure. Perhaps is a risk to allow yourself to be successful. Another interesting skill that helped me is to give a name to your anxious mind. When you give a name to your anxious mind, you make a distance between who you are and who your anxious part is. I learned this skill in a very strange period of my life. There was a period that my anxiety became a kind of depression. First I lost my husband, then I lost my mother, then in a distance of a couple of years, the closest person to me, my sister. And that was a period of time that my anxiety became a kind of depression. I kept replaying in my mind, what did I do wrong? I was afraid of starting anything, and I was thinking that what if I fail again? And I didn't want to work, I didn't want to do anything, and I kept just thinking. And I remember one day, one of my friends that she stood beside me during those terrible time. She gave me a suggestion. She told me, give your anxiety a name. And at the beginning I thought, wow, what kind of name I can give to my anxiety that can help me. Then she suggested me to watch with her a movie, a cartoon, Luca. And you don't believe it, but after that, I understood what she means. You know, Luca was a strange boy who wanted to enter in an unknown territory, a completely different society. And he was always afraid. And every risk that he wanted to take, there was this voice in his head that was telling him that you will fail. Don't do it, it's dangerous. And one day, a friend of him told him, tell that Bruno to stop. And Luca asked him, who is Bruno? He said, you shouldn't care, just tell him. And he started to shout, Silenzio, Bruno! And he took the action. Silence, Bruno. The simple phrase created a distance between who he was and who the fear was. Anxiety stopped being reality and becomes a voice. A voice you can hear without obeying. The more often I interrupted that voice, more I started to act. The voice had less control on me. The voice will be always there, of course. Bruno never disappears. However, simply moves from the driver's seat to the back seat. And the last one is stop losing things before you lose them. Seneca has one quote that explains in few words what is anxiety. We suffer more often from imagination than the reality. You see, many of us, we are anxious not because of the problem what we have today, but we are anxious because we are afraid of losing things in the future. After all, anxiety, it's supposed to help us to react to the immediate danger. But when it becomes chronic and it's always about losing in the future, it really paralyzes us. Our health, our relationship, our saving, our peace, our future, it's always a kind of fear. We become busy protecting life and forget to participate to it. We experience the loss twice, first in our mind and the second time in reality. So whenever I'm worried about losing something, I ask myself a different question. How can I appreciate it when it's still available to me? Because anxiety asks us to protect things that we have, protect the life. But the life asks a different question. Life is asking you to participate. And perhaps that's a lesson hidden inside the first question that my friend asked me. If today were the last day of my life, would I spend it to monitor my anxiety? So we should stop to lose tomorrow before even tomorrow comes. So if there is one thing that I want you to take from, I hope you take from this video, is this. You don't need to spend entire your life to monitoring your anxiety. You can learn from it. You even can listen to it, thanks it for trying to protect you, but you don't need to give the key of your home. Life is happening while we are busy monitoring our anxiety and preparing for it. That phone call, that friendship, that walk, that cup of coffee, the project that we were postponing always because we couldn't predict the future of it, the person you love, the opportunity that is quietly sitting in front of you and asking you, begging you to look at it. And if today is not the last day of your life, perhaps that's more reason to participate in it. If one of these 5 solution or ideas resonates with you, I'd be happy if you write in a comment which one you immediately are going to try this week. And if you enjoy this video, you can watch my last week video about the anxiety and what is exactly anxiety and how you can deal with it as a part of your nervous system that can help you to not only predict the future, but protect you in your day-to-day life. And until next time, take care of yourself, and once in a while, ask that Bruno to be silent. So I see you next week. Take care.